So this is a similar question. I'm at a crossroads. I'm standing at a crossroads. I have a strong Australian Amazon SKU, aka product, and I want to expand. Is my next country choice the USA, the UK, or the India? What's going to be best? And that's a very, very similar question to the one that Jeff Lowe asked me, which is, assuming product number one is successful on Amazon, is it better to strategy to launch into Amazon Oz or Amazon USA? Okay, so it's a similar kind of question. So I'm doing a twofer. Basically, it's where to expand your second product to, given that your first product is a success. So here's what I check. Here's what I check. First thing you ought to check is your port that you're coming out of. So the port you're coming out of, so depending on where your original product comes out of, your secondary product, this is just in Portugal, your second product may or may not come out of the same area for you. So most of the ports are around this kind of area, Wenzhou, Guangzhou, or on that Hong Kong kind of thing. Check where your original product comes out of, and you can then make some decisions on where to send your second product to based on that. So is the best place to send your product for cost? Should you just go directly to Oz next? Should you go to Japan next? Where's going to be best based on where you are already getting your product produced? So that's a cost-saving way of figuring out where to go next. The other things you should definitely go look at is you should definitely come look at Google Ad Planner, which is what I've just referenced, but you should definitely go look at that. So if we go for, not for that, if we go for search volume, for instance, and we do Michelle's product, so scrapbook photo album, and then I click on that, I can now see what is the search volume in a particular area. So this is in Australia. Well, I can swap that, and instead of going for Australia, I can say, well, given I'm currently selling in Australia, what's the search volume in Canada, for instance? And I can also look at what the search volume is in the UK, and I can get some ideas. United Kingdom, there we go. I can get ideas about what is the current state of play with regards to other marketplaces on Google. And again, that's because oftentimes people, if they don't search on Amazon, they search on Google for a product. And so you can get good usable data about what is the expected uptake of a product in a new market just by going to Google AdWords, which is free to go and get that information from. So you could do that. And then of course, there's also merchant words. So if I do instead, just use merchant words and go and see what's actually being searched for in different marketplaces and look at the search volume. And as always, you should take all of these data points with a very, very liberal pinch of salt, okay? These are, regardless of what anybody tells you, any marketing hyperbole, these are not accurate. They're not accurate. They are designed to be a data point. There is no way they can be accurate because Amazon does not release that information. Simple as that. So anybody saying they've got really accurate data, it's just bullshit. What they've got is access to the same data everybody else has got, and they just kind of split it up differently. Anyway, so you can see my search now for USA. I can also, of course, search in all these other marketplaces and see what the search volumes they're like. But then I would also want to as well. So I'd do that. And then I would also look at, well, what is the competition like in those other marketplaces? So let's just change this to Canada, for instance. What's my competition like in Canada? Who am I going to be competing against? Can I get an advantage, an easy advantage in that particular marketplace? Or is it going to be a lot more difficult to go compete in that particular marketplace? So whilst everybody immediately thinks I'm going to go to the USA, what they don't think is, well, what's the competitive landscape like in the USA? What will it cost me to launch my product and rank my product in the USA? So most people don't think that shit through, and it's a really important factor that ought to influence your decision-making process about where you're actually going to go next with a particular product. In my experience from doing this, I don't know, like tens of times, not quite hundreds, but certainly tens of different times, I tend to go, if I've got a product working really, really well in an English-speaking marketplace, I tend to go to Canada or the UK next. So if I've got it working well in Australia or in the USA, then I'll tend to go to one of those two places next, Canada or the UK next. And they, I find, are very forgiving marketplaces where you can continue to get some skills and continue to get some good traction as well. So that's what I would do in that particular situation. It absolutely depends, as Dominic says. Hayden, would you also worry about the cost per click along with the search volume? No, I wouldn't. And here's why, because it's very, very easy to stand out on Google AdWords, and most people, so when most people think about Google Ads, think about the way a Google Ads screen is laid out. You typically have, so for any given search, so if we did vitamin C serum, typically you'll have across the top, you'll have all of the Google shopping, which is a real bitch that you can't get Amazon onto that, but you can get Shopify onto it. So you ought to be there because it's much cheaper to advertise there than anywhere else. But then you also get underneath those, you get the normal kind of ads, which is what you can run your Amazon store ads from. So you can run your Amazon store ads there. Typically as well, depending on the particular search term, you'll also get paid search ads over here on the right-hand side, which is called the right rail. You'll typically get paid ads down here. So interestingly, your goal for Google Ads should not be to get there, should not be to get there. It's not the worst place to be, but it's not a great place to be. Actually, where you want to be is what's traditionally called position number 4, which is kind of up on the top right-hand side, on this top right rail. You can't see it here because I'm in Portugal. There's not enough people advertising, which is opportunity, of course. But that's typically where you want to be. So your cost per click is not indicative, like this cost per click here, cost per action, cost per click, is not indicative of being in the position that you actually want to be, which is in position number 4. It's indicative of being in this position here, position number 1, okay? Big difference between them, and you typically don't want to be there anyway. And so whilst it may cost you a lot to get there, in this particular marketplace, there's actually nobody trying to get in position number 4, if that makes sense. So yeah. Not India first. No. Why not India first? Well, I love the Indian marketplace. It is stone cold awesome. However, it will take you a minimum of 3 months to get set up to be able to sell there. Unlike every other marketplace, which you can do in a day, the Indian marketplace is a monumental pain in the arse to sell in, and takes at least 3 months to, if you start from scratch, it'll take you at least 3 months to get up and selling there. And by the time you've got all that shit done, you could have easily been selling in another marketplace and making money. So whilst it's a good marketplace, it's a good marketplace once you're selling there. It's not a great marketplace if you want to be selling fast. And the fast way of doing it, most people are like, that's going to take you a long, long time. 3 months is fast, but the way you do it is you organize what's called a satellite office. So Your office in Australia, for instance, as long as you're a Pty Ltd company, it's actually much faster to set up a satellite office in India, which takes a lot less. So when most people try and set up, typically what they try and do is they set up a business from scratch in India, which takes 6 months. But if you set up a satellite office in India, you can do it in 3 months. So it's much, much faster. Yes, hope that helps. Anyway, I wouldn't do it that way. Is the UAE hard to set up? No, not as hard as India, but then again, it's nowhere near as good as India either. You know, so if I was going to set up in the UAE, there'd be tax advantages to being in the UAE, of course, because it's a tax-free zone. And you could argue that you could then run other things through that, of course, but that's a conversation for a different time. But the marketplace there compared to the marketplace in India, as far as volumes of sales potential goes, is chalk and cheese. I mean, it's night and day. So yeah, if it were me and you had the capital, I would start the process for India, and then whilst I was doing that, I would be setting up and selling in another territory. So you kind of say to yourself, well, given my product's working well here, Australia, then I'm going to sell in India, but that'll be the third marketplace that I go into. And my second marketplace, which I'm going to, so I'll start India now, start the process. And my second marketplace will be UK, Canada, whatever it may be. I'd do it that way if I were in your particular shoes. Is Singapore a good one? Listen. Is a marketplace a good marketplace is a terrible question to ask, because a marketplace is of no consequence. Who gives a shit if a marketplace is a good or bad on average? Are you going to sell every single product? No, you're not. So why give a shit about the average? The average is bollocks for you. Who cares about the average? What the question ought to be is this market good for the thing I am selling? That's the question to ask. And the answer to that is, I've got no idea. Go and do your research. But asking is you know, Singapore a good market is just bullshit, because it doesn't matter. The question is it a good market for you and the product you're wanting to sell? That's the question to ask. Because an average, who cares? You're not going to sell every single product, so you don't care about the average. What you're going to sell is your product. You only give a shit about that. I hope that makes sense.
Hey, Neil here. Just before you go away, that was a question that I got asked on my regular Monday night Q&A session, which I have with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in joining us as an Aussie Online Entrepreneurs, then you can click on the link below to find out a lot more about that. And also, as a special thank you for watching this video, I've got a great book that I want to give you for free. It's a current bestseller on Amazon, and it teaches you everything that you would need to know about starting a business here in Australia on Amazon. So you can see that just up there. So if you'd like to get a copy of that for free, then again, just click on the link below and you'll get a copy of that. You'll get taken to a page where you can get a copy of that for absolutely free. Hope you enjoyed that little snippet from one of my Aussie Online Entrepreneur Q&A sessions, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also like this video. And if you've got a question that you would like answering, then post it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it, whether on one of these videos for you or directly in the comments directly below. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the next of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs Amazon FBA Australia videos. See you soon.